Welcome to Audiobooks by Alexa, your destination for powerful summaries, deep insights, and mind-changing wisdom from the world's best books. Today, we're diving into a life-changing book that helps you declutter your mind, sharpen your focus, and think clearly in an age of chaos. Think Straight, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, by Darius Foroux. This book is not about learning what to think, but how to think. It's about mastering your mind so your thoughts stop controlling you and you start controlling them. So, sit back, relax, and let's begin this journey to clear thinking and mental freedom. Chapter 1: Why Thinking Clearly Matters. In today's world, our minds are under attack from endless notifications, opinions, social media, and information overload. We are constantly reacting, scrolling, comparing, and worrying. Darius Foroux says, "The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life." That means if your thoughts are scattered, fearful, and negative, your life will reflect exactly that. But if you can think with clarity, reason, and focus, you'll make better decisions, manage emotions better, and create real progress. Clear thinking isn't a gift. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be learned. But first, you must understand the biggest obstacle: your own mind. Most people assume they are in control of their thoughts. But in truth, most of us are on autopilot. Our thoughts jump from one worry to another, from one regret to one fantasy, like a monkey swinging from branch to branch. To think straight, we must first observe our thoughts. Don't judge them. Don't fight them. Just notice what your mind is doing. When you become aware, you can slowly take the wheel back. Thinking clearly begins with mental awareness. Chapter 2: The Enemy of Clear Thinking, Overthinking. One of the most powerful lessons from the book is that overthinking kills clarity. You can't think straight when your mind is filled with mental noise. We often confuse thinking with worrying. Thinking is productive. It solves problems, generates ideas, and helps us move forward. Worrying is repetitive, circular, and useless. It just makes you tired. Foroux says that most people suffer not from lack of intelligence, but from too many unnecessary thoughts. The key is not to think more, but to think better. When you catch yourself replaying the same thought, "What if I fail? What will they think? Why did that happen?" Stop and ask, "Is this thought helping me?" If not, drop it. Let it go. You can't stop thoughts from coming, but you can stop giving energy to the wrong ones. Chapter 3: Simplicity is the Path to Clarity. Clear thinking thrives in simplicity. The more complex your life becomes, the harder it is to see things clearly. Darius teaches that people who think straight keep life simple, not because they are lazy, but because complexity is the enemy of clarity. Simplify your goals. Simplify your environment. Simplify your schedule. Every time you say yes to something meaningless, you say no to your peace of mind. Ask yourself often, "What truly matters to me right now? What do I want to accomplish today? What can I remove that doesn't serve me?" When you declutter your surroundings and priorities, your thoughts become lighter. It's like cleaning a messy desk. Suddenly, you can see what's important. Simplicity brings focus, and focus brings power. Chapter 4: Stop Caring About What Others Think. Another major obstacle to thinking straight is the fear of judgment. So many of our thoughts revolve around how others perceive us, what they'll say, what they'll think, whether we'll look foolish. But Darius Foroux reminds us, most people are too busy with their own lives to care about yours. When you stop caring about every opinion, you become mentally free. You stop overanalyzing, stop second-guessing, and start acting from your true self. Thinking straight requires independence of mind. That doesn't mean you ignore advice or feedback. It means you think for yourself. You listen, you analyze, and then you decide what aligns with your values. You can't think clearly if your mind is filled with other people's voices. So, next time you hesitate because of what others might say, remind yourself. They're not living your life. You are. Chapter 5. The Power of Thinking in Principles. Darius explains that successful thinkers don't get lost in every new problem. They rely on principles, timeless truths that guide their decisions. Principles are like your internal compass. They help you think clearly even when emotions or confusion try to take over. For example, I will only do work that aligns with my values. I don't react to things immediately. I give them time. If I can't control it, I won't worry about it. When you live by principles, you save mental energy. Instead of deciding everything from scratch, you rely on consistent logic. This helps you stay calm, grounded, and confident even in uncertain times. And over time, these principles shape your entire mindset, from chaotic to clear. Chapter 6. The Myth of Motivation. Many people think they need to feel motivated before taking action. But Darius flips that belief completely. He says, action creates motivation, not the other way around. When you sit and wait for the perfect mood to begin something, your mind fills with excuses. You think about how hard it will be, how long it'll take, and why you can't do it now. But once you start, even with small steps, your brain switches gears. Momentum builds confidence, and confidence fuels motivation. So, instead of overthinking, just begin. Start small, start imperfect, but start now. That's what clear thinkers do. They don't wait for clarity, they create it through action. Chapter 7. The Power of Decision-Making. Another pillar of clear thinking is decisiveness. Indecision clogs the mind. It creates stress, anxiety, and mental fatigue. Darius points out that most decisions in life don't require days of debate. You just need enough information to make a reasonable choice, then move forward confidently. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I choose wrong? Will it matter a year from now? What's the next logical step? When you start thinking this way, decisions become lighter. Even if you're wrong, you learn and adjust. But staying stuck drains more energy than making a mistake ever will. The secret to thinking straight is moving forward, not staying trapped in hesitation. Chapter 8. Let go of negative thinking. Negative thinking is a mental trap. We replay failures, criticize ourselves, and magnify problems until they become overwhelming. But Darius reminds us, negative thoughts are not facts, they are just mental habits. And like any habit, they can be broken. The first step is awareness. When you catch a negative thought like, I'm not good enough, don't argue with it. Simply recognize it as an unhelpful pattern and replace it. Ask, what's a more useful way to see this? Instead of saying, I failed, say, I learned something. Instead of, I can't handle this, say, I'll take it one step at a time. You don't need to lie to yourself. You just need to shift perspective. Because clear thinking comes from mental neutrality, not negativity or blind positivity, but calm realism. Chapter 9. The Value of Thinking Less. One of the book's most refreshing messages is this. You don't need to think all the time. Most people think themselves into exhaustion. They analyze every detail, replay every event, and imagine every possible outcome. But your mind, like a muscle, needs rest. Darius Foroux says, "The less you think about meaningless stuff, the more energy you have for meaningful thinking." Take breaks. Go for walks. Enjoy silence. Spend time away from screens. Because when the mind is quiet, insights arise naturally. That's when you think your best thoughts, effortlessly. Learning to think less is not laziness. It's wisdom. Chapter 10. Awareness is everything. At the heart of Think Straight lies one powerful truth. Awareness changes everything. You can't fix what you don't see. Once you start observing your thoughts, your behavior, and your reactions, you begin to separate you from your mind. That's when true clarity begins. You stop reacting automatically. You start responding thoughtfully. You become deliberate instead of impulsive. Thinking straight isn't about having a perfect mind. It's about knowing your mind. And that's the first real step toward freedom. Chapter 11. Mastering Emotional Control. We learned how to gain awareness of our thoughts and simplify our thinking. But to truly think straight, we must also learn to manage our emotions. Because emotions, when left unchecked, can cloud judgment faster than anything else. Darius Foroux reminds us that emotions are not enemies. They are signals, indicators of how we perceive reality. The problem begins when we let emotions take over the steering wheel. Think about it. When you are angry, fearful, or overly excited, how often do you make clear decisions? Almost never. We react, we rush, and we regret. To regain control, we must pause before reacting. When something triggers you, don't respond immediately. Take a breath. Step back. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? Emotions are valuable data, but they should never become your decision makers. Foroux says, a calm mind is a powerful mind. The ability to remain calm under pressure is one of the greatest advantages you can have in life. When you feel overwhelmed, focus on what you can control, your actions, your responses, your next thought. The rest is noise. Learning to think straight is not about eliminating emotions. It's about using them intelligently. Chapter 12. Build a thinking routine. Just like physical exercise strengthens the body, mental exercise strengthens your thinking ability. If you don't train your mind regularly, it becomes weak, reactive, and cluttered. That's why Darius Foroux emphasizes building a thinking routine, a daily habit that sharpens clarity and focus. He suggests setting aside quiet time every day, even just 10 minutes, to think intentionally. No distractions. No scrolling. Just sit and ask yourself meaningful questions. For example, what did I learn today? What could I have done differently? What truly matters this week? What am I wasting energy on? This daily reflection rewires your brain to think consciously instead of reactively. Over time, you begin to notice patterns in your thoughts, your habits, your mistakes, and that awareness gives you the power to change. You don't need hours of meditation or long journaling sessions. Even a few minutes of mindful thinking every day can transform the way your mind operates. Thinking should never be random. Make it intentional, and your thoughts will start working for you, not against you. Chapter 13. Focus on what you can control. A major source of confusion in our thinking comes from focusing on things outside our control. We waste time worrying about the economy, other people's opinions, or past mistakes that can't be changed. Darius Foroux reminds us of a timeless truth. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. When you direct your energy toward things within your control, you become more effective and less anxious. Your mind stops spinning in circles. You start moving forward. To practice this, write down your worries and divide them into two lists, one for what you can control and one for what you can't. Then focus only on the first list. This single habit can drastically reduce mental clutter. Because every thought you spend on something uncontrollable is energy wasted. And every thought invested in something you can influence brings you closer to progress. Clear thinkers don't fight reality. They accept it and act wisely within it. Chapter 14. The role of discipline in clear thinking. Clarity doesn't just come from inspiration. It comes from discipline. Discipline in habits, in focus, and in how you manage your time. Darius writes that your mind becomes what you feed it. If you constantly expose it to gossip, negativity, and distraction, your thinking will reflect that chaos. But if you discipline your mind to focus on learning, calmness, and self-improvement, clarity becomes your default state. Discipline also means creating boundaries, choosing when to think and when to stop. You don't have to solve every problem in one sitting. You don't need to replay every event from the past. Decide when enough thinking is enough. Many people mistake endless analysis for productivity, but in truth, it's often procrastination disguised as thought. Discipline means knowing when to act, when to rest, and when to let go. A disciplined thinker lives intentionally. They decide what enters their mind, how long it stays there, and when to move forward. Chapter 15. How to deal with uncertainty. Uncertainty is part of life. Yet, it's one of the biggest reasons people lose clarity. We fear the unknown. We want every detail before we act. But as Darius explains, waiting for perfect certainty is the same as waiting forever. No one ever has complete information. Great thinkers make decisions with the best information available, then adapt as they go. When you accept that uncertainty is inevitable, you stop fighting it. You stop overthinking and start experimenting. You realize that progress is made through action, not through endless prediction. Instead of asking, "What if this goes wrong?" ask, "What will I do if it does?" That shift turns fear into preparation and confusion into clarity. Thinking straight means embracing uncertainty with confidence, not because you know everything, but because you trust your ability to handle whatever comes next. Chapter 16. Learning from failure. Failure is one of the greatest teachers of clear thinking. When something doesn't go as planned, you have two choices: complain or learn. Darius Foroux says, failure is feedback. It tells you what doesn't work. If you see failure as a personal attack, you'll fear it and avoid taking risks. But if you see it as data, you'll grow faster than most people ever will. Every failure gives you insight. It reveals weak points in your thinking, your preparation, or your assumptions. By studying your failures, you train your mind to see reality more clearly. Ask after every setback, "What can I learn from this? What would I do differently next time? What belief led me to this mistake?" Failures only hurt when we refuse to learn from them. Clear thinkers extract lessons, adjust, and move forward with sharper awareness. That's how wisdom is built, one honest reflection at a time. Chapter 17. Avoiding mental traps. Throughout the book, Darius warns us about common traps that distort thinking. These traps are like invisible walls in our mind, keeping us stuck. The first is the comparison trap. When you constantly measure your worth against others, your thoughts lose direction. You begin living someone else's life instead of your own. The second is the expectation trap. When you expect perfection from yourself or others, you invite frustration. Life rarely unfolds exactly as planned, and clear thinking requires flexibility. The third is the assumption trap. We often think we know what others mean or what will happen next, without real evidence. Good thinkers question their assumptions. They seek clarity before reacting. Finally, the negativity trap. Consuming negative content, gossip, or complaining drains mental energy. To think straight, you must protect your mind from constant negativity, because your thoughts reflect what you feed them. Avoiding these traps doesn't require perfection. It requires awareness. Once you see them for what they are, they lose their power over you. Chapter 18. Create mental space. We live in a world that never stops talking. Notifications, messages, noise, every moment demands your attention. But thinking straight requires silence. It requires mental space. Darius suggests scheduling regular periods of solitude. Turn off your phone. Go for a walk. Sit quietly. At first, your mind will resist. It will crave stimulation. But soon, silence becomes your greatest tool for insight. Great thinkers, from philosophers to inventors, understood this truth. Clarity doesn't come from constant input. It comes from giving your mind space to connect ideas. When you remove distractions, your brain begins to organize thoughts naturally. You start seeing patterns, connections, and solutions that were buried beneath noise. If your life feels chaotic, don't think harder. Think quieter. Silence is not the absence of thought, it's the foundation for deep thought. Chapter 19. The Power of Continuous Learning. Thinking straight isn't a one-time achievement. It's an ongoing process of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Darius Foroux emphasizes that growth-minded people stay curious. They question their assumptions, explore new perspectives, and never stop improving their mental models. Read books. Observe people. Reflect on experiences. Every day offers something to learn if you are paying attention. But learning doesn't mean collecting information. It means applying what you learn. Knowledge without action creates clutter. Knowledge applied creates clarity. The best thinkers don't try to know everything. They focus on knowing what matters and using it to make better choices. Keep your mind open, but filter what you let in. Because clear thinking is not about having more thoughts, it's about having the right ones. Chapter 20. Think straight, live straight. As the book reaches its conclusion, Darius Foroux reminds us that the goal of thinking straight is not intellectual pride or cleverness. It's a better life. When you think straight, you stop reacting impulsively. You stop letting fear or anger drive you. You make decisions based on reason and values, not confusion or emotion. This mental clarity leads to emotional stability, better relationships, and more meaningful work. It helps you focus on what truly matters and ignore what doesn't. A straight thinker doesn't chase every trend, every argument, or every distraction. They stay centered, deliberate, and calm, no matter what the world throws at them. Thinking straight is the foundation of peace. Because once you master your mind, life stops feeling chaotic. It starts feeling simple, focused, and deeply satisfying. And that brings us to the end of the complete summary of Think Straight by Darius Foroux. In this book, we've learned that clear thinking is not about intelligence, it's about awareness, simplicity, and control. It's about understanding your emotions, focusing on what you can control, and living by principles that bring peace and purpose. When you start thinking straight, you stop being a prisoner of your thoughts. You become the master of them. And that single shift can transform your life completely. If you found this audiobook summary valuable, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Audiobooks by Alexa for more inspiring book summaries that help you grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. Until next time, remember, change your thoughts, and you change your life.